Hello Year 5 and welcome to another maths lesson. Today we are looking at dividing 3-digit numbers by 1-digit numbers. I remember to change this to division. Okay, so we're looking at groups again, or sharing, and our warm-up question is, what is the perimeter and area of a square with one length that is 17 centimeters long? So you know one side is 17 centimeters long. If you know that, can you work out the perimeter and the area? Okay, let's have a look at that one. So I have put a square here. So what I'm going to do is label one of my sides 17 centimeters. What do we know about squares? We know that they have equal sides, so that's 17. I'm only going to put the units on one side, so 17, 17, and 17. So I'm going to put P, the perimeter, over here. Let's work that out, and then we do area over here. So perimeter is a total length around the outside. So if I had to, imagine I'm walking, I have to walk 17 centimeters there, 17 centimeters there, 17 centimeters there, and 17 centimeters there. So that's 4 lots of 17 that I'm going to have to walk. So we have 17 times 4 to work out the perimeter, or 17 plus 17 plus 17 plus 17. Okay, so if I do 17 times 4, you could do 4 times 12 is 48. So 4 times, so 12 lots of 4 plus 5 lots of 4, which would equal 17 lots of 4 together. So you could do that. So you could do 48 add 20, which will give you 68 centimeters. You could just work out 17 times 4 in your head, because you might be able to do that. 2 times 17 is 34. 34 times 2 is 68. So there's lots of different ways you could do that. You could do 4 times 10, which is 40, or plus 4 times 7, which is 28. So 40 plus 28 is another way. So the perimeter is 68 centimeters. I'm going to put an A to work out area. I'm just going to put one more unit in here just to explain units, not area. To work out the area of a square, how do you do that? We do width times length. So it's a square, so it's going to be 17 squared, or 17 times 17. So I'm going to write 17 times 17 to give us an opportunity to go through our multiplication. Okay, so if we start with our ones, so 7 times 7 is 49, so my 9 goes in there, my 4 goes in there. 7 times 1, or 7 times 1, 10 is 7 tens, plus 4 tens is 11 tens, so 119 for the first row. Pen back on. Now I need to do my tens column. Put my placeholder in, and I do 1 times 7. 7, 1 times 1, just 1. I've got these two numbers here, so I need to add them up to get my total. 9 add 0 is 9. 10 add 70 is 80. 100 add 100 is 200, so 289. So that is the numbers. We need the units. We're doing centimeters times centimeters. So if you times them by itself, it's the same as squaring it. So you've got centimeters squared. So if you're doing area, it's going to be squared. So perimeter 68 centimeters, area 289 centimeters squared. So we're going to look at another few examples like this in the next couple of days. Right, so warm-up question: 84 divided by 3, 85 divided by 3, 83 divided by 3, and 490 divided by 7. So pause the video, have a go at those, and then check back in to see if you got the right answers. Okay, so look at the first one, 84 divided by 3. So we have partitioned it into tens that we know that we can divide into 3 equal groups. So partitioned into 60 and 24. So 60 divided by 3 is 20, because we know 3 times 20 is 60. And 24 divided by 3 is 8. So the answer is going to be 28. If we look at this with bus stop method, that's a preferred method for a lot of people. How many 3's go into 8? Well, 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9, so that's too big, so 8. Take away the 6 we've used is 2. So I've got how many 3's in 24? We know that 3 times 8 is 24, so the answer is 28. So that's another way of looking at, rather than using the part whole method. Okay, so you will have noticed that this question is very similar to this. It's just got an extra 1 in there. So it's not going to affect how many groups you get, because you haven't got 3 extras. You've only got 1 extra, so that's just going to be a remainder. So that's why it's just the same number of groups with a remainder 1. 1 more extra 1. 83 divided by 3. You'll notice that's 1 less. So you can't have 28 whole groups of 3. You can only have 27 groups of 3, and you'll have 2 left over, because 27 groups of 3, 27 times 3 is 81. 83 take away 81 is 2. Then we've got a little bit different here. So 419 divided by 7. We know 7 times 7 is 49. So 7 times 70 must be 490. To look at these floating numbers. Okay, so that's those answers. We're going to look at our learning for the day. So what I'm going to do today is we're going to look mostly at the part whole model and the place value columns method. So dividing it, partitioning it into different rows. How many rows do you need? But I'm also going to talk you through the bus stop method at the same time, just because I know a lot of you are used to using that method and you would prefer to use that method, which is absolutely fine. Okay, so we have 609 divided by 3. So we need to have 3 rows here, because we're dividing by 3 and we're looking for 3 equal groups. So we're just going to represent that with our place value counters. So we've got 609. So if we divide our 600 into groups of 3, we're going to have 2 groups of 3, or 3 lots of 200. Then we've got our 9. So if we divide this by 3, so how many 3's have we got in there? We've got 3 3's. So it's going to be 3 in each group. And you'll notice that these are all equal. So we've done our dividing correctly. There's no remainders and nothing left. So it's going to be exactly, if we look at each row, it'll tell you what the answer is. So 203. So 609. Divided by 3 is 203, because 203 times 3 is 609. Let's look at another question. Okay, so we've got 576 divided by 4. So we have our 500s, our 7 10s, and our 6 1s. So if we're looking at divided by 4, we need 4. There's my mouse. 4 rows. So dividing into, sharing into 4 equal groups, or sharing equally between 4. You can think of it as sharing equally between 4 people. So if we look at the 500s, how many groups of 4 have we got? We've only got 1 group of 4, so that means if there's 4 people, they can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 people, 1 each. So 4 times 1 is 4, so it's going to be 1 each in each of the hundreds. We've got 100 left over. I cannot share that equally amongst 4 people, so I need to exchange it. So this is just using it at the same time. So we had 400 that were going equally. Now let's see, once we've exchanged that, how many 10s are going to go in equally. Exchange that. Let me do my erasing. So let's just put these into groups of 4. So if we exchange, or if we use our counters and move them across and count them, we'll find that we get 4 10s in each group, because there's 4 groups of 4 with 1 left over. That means we'll get 160 in there, because 160 divided by 4 is 40. That means that we're going to have to exchange our last 10 for 10 ones, count how many we've got in there, how many we go into groups of 4. So if we have 1 group of 4, 2 groups of 4, 3 groups of 4, 4 groups of 4. How many is in each group? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 in each group. So 4 for each row. And we had 16. We're going to get 16 in our part-whole model. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So here we have 140 and 4, add them together, 144, same as over here, 144. As I said, I'm just going to go through that with the bus stop method, because I know a lot of you will prefer doing it that way. So I've got 576. I'm going to divide that by 4. How many 4s in 5? There's 1, because 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8, that's too big. So I had 5 things, I've only used 4, which means I've got 1 left over. Cross it out, so I've done that. Now I've got how many 4s in 17? That's 4, because 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 5 is 20, which is too big. So I had 17, but I've only used 16. So I'm going to take 1 away from, so I'm going to have 1 left over, sorry. So 17 minus 16, 1 left over. Oh, that looks familiar. How many 4s in 16? We know that's 4, because 4 times 4 is 16. So we're going to get 144, 144, 144. So we have 3 different methods. I imagine that you'll either choose to use the bus stop method or to think about using your place value counters. And remember, you can use dots as well. Sometimes they use a combination. I think this method ends up being a little bit confusing using the part-whole method. You can usually do that once in conjunction with this one. We are going to go through it a bit today. And if you have a little bright spark that says, oh, I really like that method, then please use this method. Absolutely fine. I just think a lot of people might end up using this one, which is fine. Right, we have 115 divided by 5. So we've represented that with our place value counters. We have 100, 110, 5 ones, and we've got 5 rows. Why is that? It's because we're dividing by 5. So if I've got 100, can I share one thing equally between 5 people? Not unless I start snapping it apart. One way of snapping it apart is to exchange it for 10 10s. So I've got my 10 10s there, my 1 10 there. I've now got 11 10s. So let me, where can I put the bus stop method? I don't think it's going to be covered up. Let's put it over here. So 115 divided by 5. Hopefully the part-whole method model is not going to appear on top of there. So now I need to look, how many groups of 5 have I got? 1, 2 groups of 5. How many in each of those groups? So we've got 5 here, that's correct. So I've got 2 groups of 5. So 2 each by 10s. There's nothing in hundreds because we couldn't do anything with the hundreds. How many have we got left over? We've got 1 left over. Here we will notice how many 5s can you get into 1? None, because 1 is smaller than 5. So we've exchanged that 100 for 10 10s. How many 5s can you get in 11? 2, because 5 times 2 is 10. 11, take away 10 is 1. So this is showing exactly the same thing as this. So now we have 110, left over. You cannot share that equally between 5, so you're going to have to exchange it for 10 ones. Let me rub this out. Get my pen back. So once again, we're looking at groups of 5. How many groups of 5 have we got? 1, 2. I have 3 groups of 5. So 3 times 5, so it's going to be 3 in each of my rows. How many 5s in 15? 3, because 3 times 5 is 15, so the answer is going to be 23. And as we've done that, we can represent it as a part-whole model. We've shown that 100 divided by 5 is 20. To exchange that into our tens to find that out. So 100 divided by 5 is 20, then we had 15 left over. 15 divided by 5 is 3, add them together, get 23. So this 115 has been partitioned into 100 and 15. 3 different methods. Which do you prefer? Okay, so we've got 2 questions here. 765 divided by 5. You might have noticed that's got a 5 in the ones column, so that is not going to have any remainders. And then we've got 201 divided by 3. So have a go at these 2 questions using the method that you prefer and see what answers you get. Okay, so we've done 765 divided by 5 here. And what do you think the answer is? We've partitioned it using the part-whole method here. So we've shown that we've got 500s that can be equally divided by 5. 500 divided by 5 is 100. Then we've got 250, that'll be divided by 5. So 5 divided by 5, you get 50, because 50 times 5 is 250, and then you get 15 left over. 15 divided by 5 is 3. So let's just show you how you get your 153. As I said, let's go through the bus stop method. Because if you find this easier, you could use this to help you populate your place value column method that you are using. So how many 5s in 7? It's 1 5 and 7, because 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10, which is too big. So I've used 1 5, but I had 7. So 7 take away 5 is 2. How many 5s in 26? It's 5, because 5 times 5 is 25. You had 26, use 25. 26 take away 25 is 1. How many 5s? 15. So just go back to this method very quickly. You can do it your times tables, that's fine. If I've got 15 things, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15. I have 1 2 3 groups of 5. That's the answer. It's going to be 153. We'll just do it times table there. How many 5s in 15? 5 times 3 is 15. So 153, 153, 153. 3 different methods. I'm going to rub that out because we're going to look at the next question. So I've got 3 rows because I'm dividing by 3. 201 divided by 3. Let me do that here. 201 divided by 3. So I've put those in the place value columns, and you can see the answer already. So you've got, in this one row, in one group, you have 6 10s, 60, and 7 1s. So the answer is going to be, I'm going to put it here, goes over, it's 67. Let's see if we get 67 here. So I've got 2 things. Can I share that between 3 people? No, because it's not enough. So how many 3s and 2? None. So I need to exchange my 200s for 20 10s. How many 3s in 20? That is going to be 6, because 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 7 is 21, which is too much. You can also think about this. If I got 20 things and I put it into groups of 3, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Change colour. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups of 3, 2 left over. How many 3s in 21? That is 7, because 3 times 7 is 21. So we've got 67, we've got 67. Now let's see it in the whole method. So we've partitioned that into 180 and 21. So 180 divided by 3 is 60. So you can see here there's 60, and each one's 60. 3 times is 180. So you could work backwards. Here we have 21 ones, 7 in each group. We know there's 3 groups, so 7 times 3 is 21. 3 different methods to look at it to get the answer. Okay, so now we have 776 divided by 4. We're going to look at this using the part-whole method and the bus-stop method. 776 divided by 4. So how many 4s go into 700? We're going to have one lot of 4, because 4 times 1 is 400. 4 times 2 is 800, which is too big. So I've used 4 of the 700s, which means I've got 300s left over. So 400s will divide exactly by 4 to give us 100. So now we have 370. Let's see how many 4s go into 37. So 4, let's do what we know. 4 times 10 is 40. That's too big. 10 lots is too big. How about we take 1 out of 4 away? 36. So 9 times 4 is 36. Yep, that works. So we've got 9 times 4 is 36. We had 37 though. So 37, take away 36 is 1. So we're going to have just knew it'd be there. I have to do it down here, and then I can guarantee it's going to get covered up again. So 360 we saw divided exactly by 4. So we've got 9. It's in the tens column, so it's 90. 90 times 4 is 360, and we've got 16 ones left over. 4 into 16 is 4, because 4 times 4 is 16. So the answer is 100 plus 90 plus 4, which is 194. 194. Okay, so this is a great chance to pause the video, have a go at questions 1 to 5 on the worksheet, and then return to the video for a little bit more input before you carry on with the rest of the questions. Okay, we're going to look at 638 divided by 3. We're going to look at it in the part-whole model. I like to do that at the same time as looking at it in the bus-stop method, because it then tells me what I can partition it into. So how many 3s go into 6? Well, 3 times 2 is 6. That goes in exactly perfect. So that means I can put my 600 in here, because it's gone in without any remainders. 600 divided by 3 is 200. See, my columns up here. It's 200. Okay, so now we've got how many 3s in 30? 3 times 1 is 3. It's in the 10, so 3 times 10 is 3. So we can put our 30 in there. We're going to have 8 left over. How many 3s in 8? It's going to be 2. 3 times 2 is 6. You had 8. 8 take away 6. It's 2. The answer was 212, remainder 2. Okay, so it's showing you a different way of partitioning it, because you know this one is going to show you remainders. That's just different ways of partitioning it. So when you're using the part-whole model, you can partition it into different numbers that you think are going to make it easier for you to do your division sum or you can use the bar model. Bus stop. Getting confused, tongue-tied. The bus stop method. So if you prefer laying it out like this and using your times tables, and then maybe using that to help you with this, that is absolutely fine. Right, so we've got two more questions. So 708 divided by 7 and 865 divided by 4. So have a think about those, maybe pause the video and try fill these in. Okay, so we've got 708 divided by 7. I know that 700 is divisible by 7, so I can put my 700 in there. How many 7s in 7? 1, because 7 times 1 is 7. Then I have 0 10s, so that's going to be 0. How many 7s in 0? 0. I've got 8 1s, so that's the last thing, so I have to put that in my last one. So 8 1s. How many 7s in 8? It's 1, because 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14, which is too much. If I have 8 things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I'm putting it into group 7. 1, group 7. 1 remaining, or 1 remainder. So 101. Remainder 1. So 100 plus 1. Remainder 1. 101. Remainder 1. Right, let's look at the next one. 865 divided by 4. I know that 8 can be divided by 4, so I'm going to put my 800 in here. Oh, press the wrong button. 800 in there. I'm also going to show on my bus stop method, because I find that really helps me to fill in my part-whole model. So how many 4s in 8? It is 2. 4 times 2 is 8. Then we're looking at 6. How many 4s in 6? There's going to be 1. Remainder 2. So let's cross that out. 6 taken by 4 is 2. So I'm going to have 4 10s in here. Share that answer. 4 10s in here. That's going to be how many 4s in 14? 10. We've got 1 10 in there. And then we're going to have 25 left. So 25 goes in here. How many 4s in 25? I know that that is 6, because 6 times 4 is 24. I had 25 though. 25 minus 24 is 1. So I've got 1 remainder. So 200 plus 10 plus 6 is 216, remainder 1. 216, remainder 1. Okay, last question. Tom has £317. He gives each of his 5 grandchildren an equal amount of whole pounds. How much money does Tom have left? So what goes in here? How can you partition it? This is the sum that you are doing, so you can decide how you're partitioning it. See if that works, or you can use your bus stop method to help you with this. The sum is 317 divided by 5. Everything's shifted. So 317 is going to go in there. 300, we know that's divisible by 5 because it's got 0 in the ones column. So I know I can put that straight in there. So how many 5s in 3? 0 in there. 31. So I'm looking at 310 here. So how many 5s in 31? That is 6, because 6 times 5 is 30, or 5 times 60 is 300. Oh my goodness. So I've got 317 again. I'm just going to divide it because this PowerPoint likes overriding where I am typing things or sketching them or drawing them. So how many 5s in 3? 0. How many 5s in 31? It's 6. 5 times 6 is 30. 31. Take away 30 is 1. So 5 into 300 is 60. Then I'm looking at how many 5s in 17. 17 divided by 5 is 3, because 5 times 3 is 15. how many left. So if you use 15, we had 17, so we get a remainder of 2. 3, remainder 2. So the answer is 63, remainder 2. Okay, so once again, choose the method you prefer to help you answer your questions. As you notice, I always went back to the bus stop method because I like using my times tables. You can use the grouping method. You can use your dots to check how many in each group, or you can try the other methods, but I would recommend trying to use that bus stop method. Right, I think I've talked for more than enough time today. Thank you very much for paying attention, and I'll speak to you soon.